Today's edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox is brought to you by Gulfstream Park.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the frim fram sauce with the awesome fave with shafafa on the.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. I'm Mike Mayo. I am joined by Jeff Defo DeForest, the legendary Tony Segreto. Defo's legendary, too.
Yeah, he is. I don't know why you don't say that for him.
And I am like remiss. I'm kind of half asleep here because I didn't load us up on the Let's Eat South Florida group yet. I'm taking a beating on the group today, and Mike Lubit's, of course, with us.
Hello.
I can't hear a thing again on my headset, but that's okay because I could hear everybody else around me. Now I could hear again. So we are live from 10 Palms at Gulfstream Park.
Our happy place.
Yeah, and the people in the Let's Eat group are not happy with me because I've been accused of being snarky and mean.
Oh, the Joanne comment?
No, not even that one. This
Oh.
was something. Did you see this one today? And it's always something on Let's Eat South Florida. It always amuses me. A woman went to this fancy Pura Vida, which is now a chain, and it's a very like overpriced, pretentious breakfast lunch cafe. And she went into the one in Delray Beach, and she requested less ice in her iced tea, and then she got a glass that wasn't filled to the brim. And they explained to her, well, it doesn't matter how much ice you get or don't. We put the same amount of iced tea in the iced tea serving. So it's like 6 ounces of iced tea, and it doesn't matter whether you get no ice, a little ice, or ice, which then brings it up to the
Measuring
brim.
the iced tea?
Now, I happen to agree with her that it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's iced tea.
But this is what you expect at a place like that. But what set me off was the fact that she led the whole thing. And I thought it was, I'm on her side. It was an interesting post, but she starts the post by saying, I'm never going back to Pura Vida in Delray Beach. That was the lead sentence. And that kind of struck me as like, okay. And I said, I'll alert the media. It's like that Deborah S. in Delray is never going back to Pura Vida. This is obviously going to shake Pura Vida to the core. And then I get accused of like, that's very snarky for an admin. You're a mean person. What did your parents do to you? And I was like, leave my parents out of it.
Exactly.
I said it was this group and social media that's made me this way. Oh, anyway, we're coming off another playoff high. We've got Derby fever, 8 days in county to the Kentucky Derby. And Jeff Defo DeForest, I was listening to your conversations with Pete Aiello. I appreciated
Pete was great. Wow.
He's the race caller here.
Is there anybody with a better stream of consciousness, though, on that particular show than Pharrell? I literally said hello.
Oh,
You know Pharrell on the bench, Scott Pharrell? I said hello to the guy, and a half hour later, said goodbye. That was it. It was like my Don King interviews. It was fantastic.
For those who don't remember, Scott Pharrell with Pharrell on the bench.
With my voice, but like times 10.
He perfected the vocal fry before it was a thing.
That's how he speaks, though.
Yeah.
That's his actual voice.
And I used to listen to him overnights. It was WFAN in New York.
FAN was great.
And I didn't get up to that portion of the conversation.
Oh,
yet.
it's hysterical. It really is. Because he came in while Pete was telling a devastating gambling story about how he got shut out at the Hard Rock because they wouldn't pay him off on what was apparently a winning bet on Korean ping pong. Literally. And there was some ruling that the game ended in a tie, which it was a playoff, so they had to go ahead and contest it after, into overtime. and they disputed whether or not he won a parlay as a result of this. And then Pharrell was sitting there in the background. I'm not the greatest at engineering, but I had to bring him in. And the two of those guys going off on this was absolutely fantastic.
I think it is pretty clear in the rule in these parlays that if it goes to overtime, whether it's a World Cup soccer match or something like that, and you don't bet the draw and you bet just the side to win, it's usually in regulations. I'm going to take the Hard Rock side on that.
Of course you would.
No, you would never want to take a stand. Well, that's why the women on Let's Eat South Florida hate you. I mean, no wonder you're getting skewered.
I deserve it, and I kind of enjoy
If
it.
it was you, believe me, you would be screaming. You would be in a tribal, communion there.
I would have
protesting.
Oh
your
yeah,
case.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Tribal court, you don't win in if you're the gambler. By the way, I can attest to that.
How
No.
do we do on our bets?
Oh, so speaking of bets, me and Tony, we pooled together on a pick 5 ticket. I got a couple of tickets, $20 total. You chipped in $10, and we're live after the first leg, thanks to a 3 to 5 shot. So us and 98% of the other tickets are still alive in the pick 5. But the exciting part is the concluding race, the 5th race today here at Gulfstream Park, where there is live racing every Thursday through Sunday during the Royal Palm Meet. Our friend Raheem Seeley, the great chef who is at J&C Oyster in Hollywood, as well as the executive chef for all the KYU restaurants in Wynwood and around the world. He's gotten into the horse game. We've talked to him before. He loves thoroughbreds. He'd be a trainer if he wasn't a chef, he said. And his horse, Battle of Dover, he has a string of about like 4 or 5 claimers that he's claimed, and this other trainer, Frank Regalato, who I've never heard of, but they've been winning a couple of races in the last few weeks. They've actually hit the winner's circle twice with different horses. Battle of Dover has run some decent races and hit the board, and he is in the 5th race today, 4-1 listed. So if Raheem's horse can close us out, Tony, we might have a shot. We'll just go home with bags of money.
There you go.
We'll be ready for the Derby. Meanwhile, the Florida Panthers, a nail biter last night.
Nail biter. Oh my God. That was one heck of a game.
Yeah. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
This one started early.
No.
Defo, did you?
I was switching between that and the draft.
Oh, okay. And I was too. Although I didn't. It was perfectly timed because the Panther game ended right when it was like coming up to pick number 11, and the Dolphins picked 13th. And it was I was getting Shador Schadenfreude.
Only 2 quarterbacks were taking it in the first round.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is.
I mean, it tells you it's an indictment of what the class was. Again, it's a bad quarterback class, and good for Cam Ward for being drafted number 1 overall, but he wouldn't have been that in another class, and that's why Sanders wasn't drafted at all.
Well, you pegged it. You've been talking about it on the morning show with Defo all week that he's just not a good
Lubie nailed it. No, he really did. In open defiance to all the other experts, he stuck to his guns, and he was right. Tony.
Yeah.
And you know what that's like to be right.
You should have bet the guy on Twitter.
Yeah, but it's rare though. Like Defo and Ken are right. Like when I'm not wrong on everything, but when my passion, as Andy started to make money on, when I get really passionate about something and I let that skew my opinion, which the Shador Sanders opinion has some of that in it, I have to admit. I've been very wrong the last 2 years. So this could have gone either way, but this was as much bias as it was opinion. It was as much bias as it was opinion because I'm annoyed by Deion Sanders, but I also watching Shador Sanders. Look, he's not bad. He just to draft a guy in the top first round, let alone just even first round overall. You have to know they're going to be a starter, if not a Pro Bowler. And Shador Sanders has a lot of question marks about his actual physical tools, not the way he plays the position, but his physical tools. And
I'm surprised
that's what you saw.
I'm surprised Deion didn't speak out yet.
He's spoken a lot. What are you talking about?
No,
He
but
hasn't shut up.
No, but has he spoken since the draft started?
I
think
don't know.
That would jeopardize. Well, whatever. I mean, that's part of the whole
No,
package.
he doesn't care.
Are you at all intrigued or involved in this whole Shador Sanders drama?
I like it. You know what? The draft was a foreign concept to me. Growing up, nobody cared about the draft. The results literally, if the Jets said, and they had 17 rounds, you'd be reading the paper on the train the next morning, and in the Agate, you had to search to find this stuff, the draft information. In fact, Jim Mad Dog Manich had a great story about how he actually found out that he was drafted by the Dolphins in the newspaper the next day. Nobody even called him to tell him.
The small agate type.
So then it became a
They
big
didn't have it
industry.
televised at all.
I want to say 1983 was the first time they televised it, and the reason I remember this is because
Danny Boy.
I was supposed to go out and get some sound bites about the draft, and I had a horse at Calder that I thought couldn't lose. So I ended up going to the track, and I remember I was so happy it was on TV that I stuck a tape recorder by the television set and recorded the announcements. And then I used that as my sound bites. And so that was great. I mean, the advent of the draft on TV. But
Now it's become such a.
it's interesting, though, because it's a game. It's kind of interesting. You kind of see how the thinking of organizations is.
Yep.
Lubie highly critical of Chris Greer all of these years. But, yeah, I mean, you're trying to see who's sharp and who's not in terms of running things from the front office standpoint.
That's the way I look at it. Just like you said, Defo, that you get a chance to see what the front office is thinking about.
And who's effective, and who's sharp.
Question for you, Lubie. Did you notice, because somebody pointed this out to me last night and texted me and said that when they went to the war room, the Dolphins war room, right when it said the pick was
There was nobody there?
No, that Chris Greer was not there. That it was a room full of executives. But
that would
was
be
he in a
so
cab
Dolphins.
outside the
That would be
office or
so Dolphins.
Yeah, it was
Your
like-
GM isn't drafting. So who's doing the drafting for that?
I don't know.
I have no
Well,
guy.
You're talking about draft memories. I covered the Dolphins a long time when I was a Cub rookie reporter. Came here in 1989, and then I was a beat writer for a few years. And I was in, I hated the draft so much.
I hate
but
it.
but
Go
ahead.
No.
I'll get your story in a minute. My story was it was the year they took Eddie Blake, right? And not only
That's Defo's
did they
favorite.
not realize that he had like a broken foot at one point, but he was also blind in one eye. And I
think he only
remember
had one.
And
it was
the
Tom-
earthquake Blake.
right. And Tom Heckert comes up or like somebody asked, I think it was Armando Salguero, said, Coach, do you realize he has a broken foot and blind in one eye? And then, like, you could see panic-stricken Tom Heckert, who is the director of scouting, like, goes up to Shula and whispers and is like, "Oh, like saying,
Something
oh
to
yeah."
say, talking points. Yeah.
What about you, Tony? You said something stuck out from all those years.
I just, you didn't. You waited and you waited and you waited and you waited and you waited some more, and then the draft comes and go, oh.
And then they said, "We're out of time tonight. It's come back for day two."
Yeah.
Question, hypothetical.
Did they draft Billy Milner in the first round the year they took Eddie Earthquake Blake? I believe it was
Yes.
a second-round pick.
I don't know. There was some doozies on my time.
That was
there.
when people started to speculate that the game had passed you by. It really was.
Eric Kumaro, John Boza. The
Boza.
Boza's sons have been, it's like the horse that can't run a lick, but then the progeny, when
Well,
it's
that's
a
when it
sire,
went wrong. They should have, been granted the rights to the sperm of John Bozo. If they had drafted that, they would have been in business for the next 10 years.
No, we're going way
or
back now, almost 40 years. God.
my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
Do you get the
can't-
rights to the sperm? No.
I got the rights to the sperm.
Well, somebody's going to get the rights to Dion's sperm, I guess, today in the second round. Here's the hypothetical,
I
gentlemen.
hope the kid is a smash hit now.
Yeah,
I really
well,
do.
Again, he's got a chip on his shoulder now, some fuel to the fire. If you are either the Jets, Giants, or Dolphins, and he's still on the board on round 2, do you take him? Any one of those
I can see the
teams?
Jets, maybe not the. I don't know. The Dolphins already have a guy that's undersized and had like. The Dolphins probably will.
Why
draft
not
a
more
quarter-
of them? Have a competition
exactly.
between two.
The Dolphins probably will draft a quarterback in this class. A lot of people are talking about Kyle McCord out of Syracuse via Ohio State, who had a really good numbers. He's actually a big, strong dude. He's
He
not.
can pass the ball.
He's a passer. He's not. He's not Tua, right? Like he doesn't get hurt. Like they need something that's opposite of Tua. They need to do that you can count on, that you can maybe groom just in case Tua continues to get hurt and it doesn't work out. The Jets maybe because they have a young guy in
I would
Fields.
trade Tua right away and get a quarterback in the draft. That's what the Dolphins should do: get Shador Sanders and trade Tua
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
for a bunch of late round picks.
Jesus.
Wouldn't that
They
be?
wanted to improve the round.
That would be Chris
Wouldn't that
Greer.
be-
Like
No,
him.
and I'm a huge Tua fan, but I don't think he's ever going to get them to where they want to be.
No, he's a middle of the road
I
quarterback.
really like the guy.
Let's get back to a successful franchise, the organization of
And the Giants
Panthers.
drafted a quarterback and then brought in 2, so the Giants aren't drafting.
Don't you love draft talk though? I mean,
No,
I'm
I'd rather talk
no,
about
man.
something that is actually real, like the
You
Panthers
should about
taking
Panthers. They
a
actually won.
2-0 lead on the road. They come back to the building in Sunrise on Saturday afternoon. Heat and Panthers, I think, are playing the exact same time
Which is so
for
annoying.
the rest
they're
of the
doing that again.
series
Why would leagues do
I
that?
hate
though?
that.
because they hate
It might have
Miami.
to do with arena availability. on
I'm
TV.
sure.
They play in separate arenas.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
the
but
other
I'm
arenas.
just saying,
Concerts and, you know,
it has to do with
circuses
scheduling,
and all that
and they
crap.
just hate Miami.
Oh, by the way,
Everybody-
on the way in,
Yeah.
this is interesting because I know you're heading out to see a Pearl Jam concert, but my friend had to cash a ticket. He finally hit something at the Hard Rock, a guy I see when I'm coming in here every day or every Friday. And he says, I was at the Hard Rock, and he's cashing a ticket at 9:30 in the morning because he's been losing his fanny. And so he needed the money right away. And Pearl Jam was doing their sound check.
Oh, cool.
Which was right next door
Yep.
to the, the sports book.
Hard
there.
Rock Live, yeah.
So, I mean, that was kind of a nice thing. He finally cashed a ticket, and he gets to see like a world-class. He's not the biggest Pearl Jam fan, which a lot of people aren't, but still, it's a classic. Yeah.
Speaking, it was the first of 2 performances at Hard Rock Live, 7,000-seat venue, and apparently one Joe Beja was there last night.
Was he really?
He posted on social media. Now, I think the secondary market dropped the prices. It was like you could get a ticket for $400 each, as opposed to when I went online and when they first announced it, it was $900 and something, and you add on the fees, it was like going to be
$1,000.
27. It was like $2,300 for 2 tickets,
Wow.
and I said no. And I got tickets in Nashville 2 weeks from now, and I'm going to see him for $170 each at the Nashville Arena and get a weekend trip out of it with Val and get to see my buddy Ed up there. So I didn't go to the Hard Rock shows, but we're going to get a review from Joe Beja later. And also Pearl Jam is going to be at Jazz Fest in New Orleans next weekend.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
they're
gonna be
going
good.
from here to New Orleans Jazz Fest, and then they're going to be continuing the tour in Nashville.
You have lots on your agenda today to talk
Oh
about.
yeah. So getting back to the Panthers, the bad news is you'll
Tony
notice
Segredo directing the show.
I am
Thank
wearing
God.
my
God, someone is.
Somebody that has like experience.
Yeah.
I'm in my own world,
What
Devo.
were you talking
Thank
about
God
an
for
hour ago?
Tony.
Yeah. You got the Tony. Nice.
you'll notice I'm wearing my Panthers playoff shirt again.
You were wearing that the other day. Don't
Yes,
forget to
and
say
I've
one.
got good news and bad news for the folks out there. Now, I love this shirt. Val got it for me in the middle of last year's playoff run.
from the gift shop.
It doesn't, yes, from the gift shop at the Federal where they train
Oh,
now
at the
in Fort
Federal.
Lauderdale.
Federal, okay.
Yeah,
Is it
and
as much of a ripoff as the one at the
it's,
arena?
I don't know because Val paid, but it's a very nice shirt. It's held
Did
up
she
well.
remind you to wear it a few times?
No,
and
well,
because
so-
it was so expensive. No?
So the thing is, it doesn't say Stanley Cup champions because she got it in the middle of the run. So it's my good luck shirt. We're at a racetrack. You believe in superstitions, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
every degenerate
So,
does, you know. That.
Here's the good news and the bad news. The good news is,
Oh, wait a
we-
minute. I parked on the wrong side today.
you guys really do. You guys do that, man.
Wait a minute.
the good news is that the Panthers are poised for a defense of their title, and I think they're going to go far.
They
The
look-
bad
they
news
look
is
good doing this.
now my superstition, because I wore this after they won game 1,
Okay.
I'm going to
You have
wear
it
this
every
shirt
day, yeah.
after every game until they lose the cup defense,
Is the
and,
washing
and I'm
machine
not
ready?
going
against
to
it,
wash
just-
it.
Oh no, you need to
No,
wash
you,
it.
you got to
wash it.
start growing a beard.
No. I can't grow a beard. It's physically impossible. It comes in all scraggly. I get
Yeah,
itchy.
mine's the same
So
way.
my superstition for this playoff
Oh,
run,
Jesus.
this shirt is not getting washed
we're gonna have
until
to
the
sit next
Panthers
to
are
you?
knocked out, and I'm going to wear it the day
You sure
after
you got deodorant
every
on?
win.
You
So
sure you got the other one?
I'm glad.
I could have used a
I'm
little
glad
more.
Tony, you come to these Friday shows. Moves
the
me
buffer.
over a seat.
Yes. So that's going to be my tradition for this Stanley Cup run.
Well,
And
now we're hoping they lose. Why do you want us rooting against the home team?
no,
Come on.
I'll,
You were against them until you jumped on the bandwagon.
the last 2 years.
I'm
all that you complain about South Florida fans and the fair weathered nature.
Mayo's
You
the same
hated
thing.
them
I'm the
until
worst.
last year.
I had a personal beef with Doug Sifu, who remains the I guess one of the big
He's the
wigs in
president.
the
I think he's the
organization.
president.
We got into a Twitter war when the Panthers were begging for more public money and they were cooking the books and all that stuff. That was back when I was a news columnist. I didn't appreciate that. But I think what turned me and what sold me on this team is basically 2 things. The GM, Bill Zito, has made every move correct. And number 2, the coach. I just freaking love that
He's
guy.
fun. Yeah, like
And this is got a bunch of guys that you could root for. And then when I found out that Reno Sorbonne, who is the chef proprietor of the Bib Gourmand awarded Heritage in Fort Lauderdale, his family owned Pizza Time, and I found out that his
brother-in-law.
sister married Roberto Luongo. So his brother-in-law is Roberto Luongo. When I found out all these
Yeah, you
things, I
gotta-
was like, you know what? I'm just going to give in. I got to put aside the petty personal differences and just root for a team that's good. And I appreciate greatness. And you can tell this team is loaded
Oh,
for
yeah.
bear
Yeah.
and they're motivated. So
Well, I'll give them credit. And I know we got to move on to other things. I'll give them credit because that's how you know a team. And my superstition as a sports fan is strong, so I hate saying these things out loud. But we're doing a show, so I sort of have to.
Don't whisper it. You can whisper it.
No,
team,
it's,
team of destiny.
it's not even that. It's just like the really great teams can win in many ways, right? Like they were a team, and that was what Bill Zito did. They were a team that scored a lot. They were finesse, and it wasn't working. So he made them a physical team, but they were able to still, like you saw in game one, put up 6 goals. They are able to move fast. They're able to score a lot, but at root, they are a physical team. And the fact that they pretty much won 1-0. Like and Tampa Bay is the opposite. Tampa Bay is a really offensive heavy team. Kucherov is and he led the league in scoring, I think, points overall for like the third, if not the third straight year, the third year in a handful of years.
Didn't he used to be the leader of Russia, Nikita Kucherov?
That's Defo's favorite.
Khrushchev, yeah.
That's Defo's favorite.
But he's older than Ovechkin. I think this guy. He's been in the league since Gump Worsley broke in.
But he can't do anything, and he's frustrated.
Yeah.
To beat a team like that 1-0 is
on the
impressive.
road, and it was 2-0. They got an empty
net when the game was
netter,
over,
which is it was pins and needles. Those last 2 minutes are the worst part. I was just screaming and writhing. But all right, 2 things. Talking about Russians, the 2 goalies last night. Bobrovsky, fantastic.
He was amazing.
And remember, we used to
I hate him.
Fantastic.
we used to hate on him.
Well, I hate him.
And the intriguing part was his counterpart Vasilevsky with Tampa Bay.
He was good again. He was good.
No,
again.
but he gave up. I thought his first goal was greasy. I know it was a little bit like he had a bad angle on it. I don't know if he was screened, but it kind of went off his pad and slipped up.
He never saw the puck.
Yeah.
It was very Bobrovsky. It was very, this is a puck you should clearly stop, and what are you doing?
Right. And when he let that one in, basically that was all the Panthers needed all night long. And, again, the Lightning looks so frustrated with the power play just being totally, the penalty kill for the Panthers has been
the power play last night was absolutely fantastic for the Heat.
The penalty killing,
for the Panthers. Yeah, no, it's impressive what they've done so far. Let's see if they can. And I guess the one more thing we got to discuss: the Barkov hit. Dirty or not?
I'll leave it to you guys. You're the old school dudes. You know hockey the way it's supposed to be played.
No, that looked bad. It really did. I mean, the puck's out of the area.
Yeah,
comes in, targets the guy's head.
Yeah,
should have been suspended for a couple of games.
I'm going to disagree. It was clearly a case of targeting, but I didn't think it was that bad. It was shoulder on shoulder, and it was old school hockey.
He hit him right in the head with his shoulder. There are unwritten rules. They talk about this in baseball a lot, the unwritten baseball rules, and people violate them, and then they justify a guy throwing at somebody's head.
Yeah.
Hockey, I mean, you have to be more respectful than that.
Yeah,
that's clear cut that he just tried to take the guy out.
I just think
I don't think there's any. And this guy Hagel has been nothing but a problem. So.
Well, and again, who it is? Again, he didn't do it to Forsling. He didn't do it to Rodriguez. Barkov was one of the top 5 or so players in the world, an MVP candidate or Conn Smythe candidate every year. Clearly the Panthers' best player and their captain was in the corner. The puck wasn't there, and you saw the dude line up. He left the ice.
Just pumble him.
I get old school. He probably would have gotten away with it to a better extent. So, Mayo, you're not wrong. That's why I asked you guys. But in this era, no one does. You don't see guys doing that. Like guys don't do that.
And he did get the 5-minute major, penalty for it. Will there be suspension? I don't know.
We haven't heard anything yet. And I haven't heard anything about Barkov, which means what he did worked. And that even underscores the point of he was trying to do that. Yes.
Right. He probably has a concussion. Is probably going to have to be out for a couple of more games.
Yeah.
And
he crushed him.
You know what I mean?
When you see the hits though in general in the NHL, I mean it's unbelievable. Anybody survives this stuff. I don't know how you do it. I mean, I was watching a bunch of really lopsided knockout fights last night, different weight categories, different eras, and these guys who were getting pummeled in the corner don't take half the abuse that a hockey guy does on an average play, which was pretty amazing. This was exceptional though.
It was a brutal. It's a brutal sport,
and you have to consider the source.
It's a brutal play.
It's the same guy that was like.
You know how they did that with Rasheed Wallace. They do that in all sports. If like a Ty Domi does something versus Barkov does it, right? Like if a dude is known for being that guy, they look at him even stronger.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Now,
Lubie,
did you watch the replay? Because I saw the initial hit. He went up shoulder to shoulder. Now he ends up hitting the ice and his head goes into the so the end result was it bashed his head, but I didn't see contact with his head on the initial
but isn't hockey, because you guys know hockey better than I do, you're from the New York area where the original 6, all that. I like hockey later on in life. Isn't hockey weird about like they'll play the result? Like if the dude doesn't leave the ice, then maybe they'll give you the minor. If the dude leaves the ice and doesn't return, then they'll give you the major. And like, don't they sort of do that? Isn't that like sort of a thing?
It was just ugly. I mean, think about it. You're playing a sport, or whatever sport it is.
Yeah.
And you go out of your way to just hammer some guy in the head.
Yeah, it's,
Nah,
it's
Now
wrong.
you're on skates.
It's
and,
wrong.
it's a very physical game, and you crashed a guy right into the boards at that time. I mean, it seemed like it was premeditated.
Bingo.
And,
That's
this
why he
guy
went
just came
in.
out there to hit.
It
Parker.
was a premeditated
And that's
hit.
the thing.
And because it was close to the boards, that's where you say what he did crossed the
wrong.
line.
Bingo.
Yes.
And it's not like he's playing a puck. The puck's on
Right.
the other side
Puck
of the
was
ice.
already gone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what the Panthers can do and recover after that. We got to take our first break, and we'll be back with more. And Joe Beja, Executive Director of Hospitality here at
Where's Beja,
Gulfstream,
man?
after these
Oh, let's
words.
see.
For the finest poultry and the freshest fish, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, open 7 days. Since 1951, a South Florida tradition for stone crab in season, Thanksgiving turkeys, holiday feasts, and everyday eating. Great steaks, house-made sausage, and prepared foods, too. Delaware is not just a market, it's a celebration of taste, quality, and old-fashioned customer service with a smile. Sign up for their weekly email flyer at DelawareChicken.com and tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a great bagel with lox, matzo ball soup, deli sandwich, and rugelach, you know where I go? Grandpa's Restaurant in Dania Beach. It's a South Florida institution since 1957 that was revamped a few years back by a pair of New York bagel baking legends. Full deli and appetizing case with spreads, salads, and platters for takeout and catering. Grandpa's is near Federal Highway just north of Sterling Road, open 7 days for breakfast and lunch. Go eat and enjoy. It's Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. For the finest and authentic Greek cuisine, Taverna Kima is the place to go. 6298 North Federal Highway in Boca Raton. It's been around for nearly 2 decades. Every day is a feast with grilled lamb and fish, house-made spinach pie and moussaka, gyros, traditional dips, mezes, with soft, warm pita. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner with happy hour daily from 3 to 6 p.m., indoor, outdoor, private dining. So celebrate life at Taverna Kima. For reservations and information, go to tavernakima.com. When I get a craving for real Southern barbecue, Fat Boys Barbecue is the place that I call home. Cooked low and slow with proper smoke and dry rub goodness, Fat Boys has some of the best ribs, brisket, burnt ends, pulled pork, and chicken around. 5 delectable sauces and the tastiest collard greens, candied yams, and cornbread this side of heaven. 4 locations, including Deerfield, Coral Springs, Cypress Creek Road, and their newest location in downtown Fort Lauderdale, 706 South Federal Highway. Open 7 days with great lunch specials, online ordering, delivery, catering, and food trucks for your next event. To order, go to fatboysbarbecue.com today. That's Fat Boys with a... When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Feel like getting away without leaving town? Then you got to check out the House on the River in Fort Lauderdale. It's a beautiful restored historic home with indoor and outdoor dining right on the New River. You'll think you're in Charleston or Savannah. It has a gorgeous patio, porches, and private dining areas, and it offers unique experiences perfect for a date night or fun times with friends and family. It has weekend brunches, happy hour, dinner Wednesday through Sunday. There's also a high tea on Friday and Saturdays, and the popular House of Veuve Champagne experience on weekends. The House on the River is in Fort Lauderdale's Himmershey District, just south of the Science Museum. For reservations and information.
All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. We're enjoying a lovely lunch here at 10 Palms at Gulfstream Park in Hallandale Beach. Tony and I have got the Greek salad. I love their feta cheese. They've definitely upgraded it. It's excellent. Defo enjoying his blackened chicken breast. We've got a chicken sandwich that's on the menu here that has avocado and all
But
kinds
this
of
is
cheese.
calling our name. And what about this seafood thing?
Yeah, we've got a
Halibut's
fish
nice.
special. It's halibut with some fingerling potatoes, and it looks
What's
like
the
a nice little
sandwich?
sauce. And that's their. It looks like a barbecued brisket sandwich.
That looks good.
And,
I may have to try a piece of that.
It looks
We
a
got into four for
little.
you guys.
It's very saucy, and don't get saucy with me, Bernays.
It looks like the opposite of what we had
It
yesterday.
smells. It smells good.
But-
though.
The
Oh
kind
no!
of
I
barbecue
mean,
like.
I'm going to dive into it later. You know me; I am going definitely scaling back on the eating. Yesterday, I went nuts with Jarrell at
It's got some onions. in
Fat
there.
Boys on a Fat Boy Barbecue. Unbelievable!
That guy seemed like a real nice guy. So
He's a good dude, and
Yeah.
his product is great. I love
it?
dry rubbed ribs,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he did a tour of the country. He did dry rubs from around the country, made different ones just for us.
Yeah, the rubs, not
Texas-
the barbecue sauce, because he already has like 6 different kinds of barbecue.
Where's
sauce.
this now?
There's 4.
Fat Boys Barbecue, but his latest location is right. It's very dangerous. 50 yards away from
Right
my
by
house in
Mayo.
Rio Vista, on 706 South Federal Highway, south of the tunnel in Fort Lauderdale, and it is doing gangbuster business. It's near the courthouse. It's near the school board
Oh
building.
my God!
All these law firms, law offices. Brenda Foreman, the clerk of courts, they're coming in there every day. They're ordering food, takeout to go. He's killing it. He's got 4 locations, and he does a real good job. So kudos to him, and we thank him for his sponsorship. New sponsor on the show, as well as Juan's Mandarin House, right up the road, also on Federal Highway. So yeah, go check those places out if you're downtown. Great places to go if you're going to a show at the Parker,
There you
which formerly the Parker Playhouse, or even at the Performing Arts Center.
Yes.
People are always looking for places to go, along with Batch, our great sponsors. So, all right, we are back, and I don't know if Joe B is. Yes, he says he is going to be on his way. He's
Nice.
running a little bit behind.
Cool.
And we'll get his details about all the. The Pearl Jam. Get a review of the show, because he is definitely a man about town. And we'll
Yeah, it's
also
great.
find out what's going on here, because there's all kinds of great events coming up.
Especially with the Derby coming
There
up
you
this
go.
week.
And I'm surprised that it's taken this long to get into. Now, we mentioned Pete Aiello on the Conversation show. He had some thoughts.
I didn't realize he was such a degenerate.
Oh, I love him.
Oh, he's great.
All those race callers.
When he described it, he had a 4-component parlay that involved nothing in your wildest imagination that you would ever bet on. It was Korean ping pong. It was some kind of bizarre thing that was going on in Tanzania. I mean, it was crazy. I can't even believe that you can get action.
Well,
But he liked, what is it, Coal Battle? Is that the name of it?
yeah, Cole Battle is a really rags to riches story. It's trained by a longtime trainer who's never had any kind of
Never.
top tier horse.
Beat Sandman, who is a favorite of a lot of my friends in this Kentucky Derby contention. So yeah, I mean, he had some logic behind it, but
I think his name is Lonnie Riley is the trainer or something like that.
wide open affair.
And Cole Battle, look, it's always like trying to figure out which of the races, the prep races, are the key races. Who has the real goods? Is it, a lot of times people love the California horses. This year, Journalism is going to be the favorite, but he hasn't beaten much and he hasn't beaten many. And he's going to have to deal with traffic for the first time in the Derby. It's a lot harder to go from 5-horse fields to a 20-horse
Yes, it is.
cavalry stampede.
Great illustration of what the Derby and the Triple Crown Quest is all about on Netflix. That Race to the Crown is an outstanding docuseries.
Is it really?
And
I was going to watch
oh
it.
no, it's really, really well done. And then beyond that, Mystic Dan, you would have probably tossed him in the Derby last year because he ran third, kind of a nondescript, dull third in the Bluegrass leading up to it. And there was no reason to think, oh, okay, this horse is going to suddenly jump up there and he wins for fun.
I thought Pete made a very astute comment, and that's why he's a race caller. Is the Derby is not so much about. There's another component where you can't just go on the past performance. You got to figure out, did the trainer have those horses in the previous efforts fully cranked, or they're all aiming to now peak for the Derby?
Yes.
And some of the horses that might have looked impressive earlier in the year peaked too soon. And you're trying to find the one that ran useful races, learned things, and then can move forward based on that. And that's why I'm so excited. I have a horse in the future book. I bet in the last Derby future pool, the beginning of April, a Todd Pletcher horse that broke his maiden here in January. And you remember, if you go back to the tape, we're going to find the tape. He went off as a 10-1 shot. He paid $20 and change. Grande. Owned by Mike Rapoli.
Yeah.
He broke his maiden here in early January, And then he goes up to New York to the Wood Memorial. He won another race after that, impressively. Finishes a very useful second in the Wood Memorial, and he had a bad trip, wide on the first turn, wide on the second turn. He ran a longer race than the winner Rodriguez did, and he got a lot of useful, it was a learning experience for
Yes,
him.
it was.
And I think the horse has a lot of natural ability. I got him at 46 to 1, $25 to win on him in the future book. It's over $1,000, and I got him in a 5-horse exacta box, and 4 of those horses are actually running in the race. So, and some of them are coming back like $3,000. So if Grande manages to pull this off, you'll never hear me stop throwing.
You picked it.
And the other horse I like is Sovereignty, who won here.
Sovereignty, I like him too. He's running right at the right time.
There you go.
And he's running hard. And that's what I like. He's running hard.
He has a horse. The horse is a closer who has tremendous ability. And something that Pete didn't mention, which I thought, he finished second in the Florida Derby. He also lost a ton of ground, didn't have the best trip, came running late and finished behind Tapan Street. But Sovereignty won his prior start in the Holy Bull. And the key part is he broke his maiden at Churchill Downs. And if you watch the tape of that performance, he looked hopelessly beat. He was last by a mile heading into the far turn. And then he made this move. It looked like a Razi and the filly, the Zenyatta.
Zenyatta.
He just inhaled horses on the stretch in Churchill Downs. So he's won on the track. I like Sovereignty.
You brought out a good point. You should bet down the road for what they're going to be.
Right.
And not what they are now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Bill Mott didn't have Sovereignty fully cranked for the Florida Derby. And he's sitting on a big one for the Derby Day. He just needs a little bit of racing luck. And you said Cold Battle is kind of the heartwarming tale. That's this year's Mind That Bird. And it's always fun because it's like spring training. You go in, everybody's got hope and promise and dreams. And I'm dreaming of big bucks. We'll see what happens.
Are we still in it?
Are we still in it? That's a good question. No.
You're already out?
We finished second. Yeah, we had the 5 and the 6. So me and Tony, our hopes and dreams for today are shattered.
Why don't I tell you about this 12? Finished started 50 to 1.
There you
Nice.
go. I hope that would make the trifectas nice and juicy. All right, you know what? Let's take our second break, Lubie, and then we'll come back with Joe Beja and talk about the latest goings on here at Gulfstream Park after these words.
When people ask me about the best restaurants in South Florida, Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. Hey, it's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk and Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for Sunday brunch and Taco Tuesdays, including their new burrito tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com.
Hey Lunchbox fans, is it time to sell your business? You've poured your heart and soul into your restaurant or business, and you want to see continue the legacy you have built. Transworld can help. Call me, Andy Cagnetta, at Transworld Business Advisors right now and see if it's time for you to retire and relax. Iconic brands like the Mai Kai, Mulligans, Carlos and Pepe's, Mangoes, and many more turn to Transworld to help sell. Contact Transworld on Facebook or call 954-772-1122 or visit tworld.com. Again, that's 954-772-1122 or tworld.com.
When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks. They're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Guess who's back and better than ever? Juan's. For the best in classic old school Chinese cuisine, a family-run South Florida favorite since 1966. It's at 664 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, open every day but Tuesday for lunch and dinner. Chef Alex is carrying on the family tradition that started 4 generations ago. It used to be known as Christina Juan's Mandarin House, and you're going to love it as Juan's. They've got all your favorites: wonton soup, spare ribs, egg rolls, dumplings, Peking duck, and more. Combo lunch specials daily and takeout and delivery. For more information, go to their Instagram page at wans.fl. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres.
All right, we're back at Ten Palms, Gulfstream Park, and we're now joined by the executive director of hospitality here, Joe Beja. Welcome back to the show, and I've got my mouthful of my new favorite menu item.
Yeah,
that chicken
is really
sandwich
nice.
with the avocado and the bacon.
Chicken
That's
sandwich
good.
is awesome.
Right.
It's really awesome.
So apologies of speaking with my mouthful. But meanwhile, you are coming off a performance last night. We were just chatting that you went to Pearl Jam at
Yes,
the
I did.
Hard Rock, and they're also playing there tomorrow night
Yes.
before going to New Orleans for Jazz Fest next weekend. And then they're going to be in Nashville, where I'm going to see him because that's all I could afford at the time. When,
But it was cheap. It's crazy that it was cheaper to go there.
Yeah.
It was.
yeah, but how was it?
Oh, it was a great show. It was a great show, and for anyone that's listening, that's going tomorrow night, you know, they do play a lot of deep cuts. It's not all hits, and especially since I mentioned to you, they're doing 2 shows, you know, 2
Here.
nights apart here. That they will split their hits. Like I won't expect, if you go on Saturday night, you may not hear Even Flow. You might get Jeremy. I didn't get Jeremy. You know, I think they'll play a live at both of them because of
That's such a big hit.
big hit,
Huge,
and then encore and so forth. But
Did they play Daughter?
nope, didn't play
Oh,
Daughter. Didn't
That's
get,
one of my
well,
favorites.
but you might get it because they do at different shows.
Well, and I'm in Nashville, so who the
Oh,
heck
yeah. Oh,
knows
you
what
might
they're
at
going
that
to be
time.
on?
I mean, they did do the Evolution, and
Right.
they did, like I said, Even Flow. They played an old the Jeremy B side
Okay.
from way back when was a song called Footsteps.
Okay.
and they performed that song. They did Crazy Mary.
Did they do Last Kiss or something?
No.
Yeah, that's.
But they did, like I said, they came out for an encore. Eddie Vedder by himself and did an acoustic version of "Won't Back Down" by Tom Petty.
That's a great song.
That's great.
And then Bob
a
O'Reilly.
great
for an
song.
Look,
encore.
they're a
So,
band that has
it's a
stood the
great-
test of
Oh, yeah,
time.
yeah.
They've been around for more than 30 years. Makes me feel very
Put
old.
the 80s,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
The 80s or
Early
90s.
90s. Early, yeah,
90.
the whole Seattle grunge
1990, 91.
scene. Yeah, and had you seen them before? Because I have not seen them.
2016.
Okay,
So it's been 9 years.
I've never seen them before. That's why it's on my bucket list of seeing bands that I need to see before they're
Yeah.
gone.
Retire.
And
I-
so that's
and
why
they
I'm
have the
willing to
original-
travel. Yeah.
and
they
I
have the original crew.
Yep.
You know, because all these bands they may have
Yes.
one guy.
Yeah.
Or they break up or people
they
leave.
went
die.
through a bunch of drummers in the beginning, but they've had Matt Cameron now for
Right.
almost like 30 years.
What
so they've had
band
the
hasn't
same,
had gone
but they've
through
had
drummers?
the same 5 guys for like
Yeah.
30 years.
Yeah. Well,
And the other thing I was going to say, if you haven't yet, download the new record, Dark Matter, which I
Okay.
think is one of their best ones in years.
okay.
But they played about 4 or 5 songs.
So it's always
Nice.
good to
Off
know
of
the
Dark
new
Matter.
stuff.
If
'cause
you
they're
don't
gonna
know the
play
new-
stuff.
I noticed that when I looked around the crowd when they started playing the new stuff, and I had downloaded the album last year when it first came out, and I was looking around the crowd, and everyone was just kind of like
Right.
maybe
What the hell's
bobbing their
this?
heads, but nobody knew what was going on for
It's
some
a
of the new
shame.
songs.
You got to stay current, and that's the whole point
Yeah.
of touring is to support the new album. That's the way the music business used
Correct.
to be. It's all
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
still
see,
that way.
I like you
Yeah.
playing the hits. I'm not gonna lie.
all right.
Yeah.
Let's get down to business here. Gulfstream Park.
You have the big weekend.
You had a good Easter Sunday. Had a nice
We
crowd.
did. We
Okay.
did. We did about 575
Excellent.
people.
Good. And now we've got Derby Day approaching next
Yes, we do.
Saturday. And what's on the agenda here all over the pride? This is like
Funny you mentioned that.
you want to. Yeah, there
Funny
you
you
go.
mention that.
He's ready to
I
go.
come ready to go with the menu. So no, actually, we're gonna have a couple options on property. Of course, 10 Palms will be doing our buffet for $85, and then we'll also be selling the souvenir Derby glass for $15 with a mint julep in it,
Nice.
and that'll be in 10 Palms. 10 Palms does sell out at some point. You know, we usually do about 1,100, 1,200 people in 10
jeez.
Palms on Derby Day.
That's
We
like
have a
Florida
f-
Derby numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a full card of live racing. We're going to show the Kentucky Derby on all the TVs and the Jumbotron. So it's really, really a great full day. And that's going to be in 10 Palms at $85. I have the menu here. Before I go over the menu, though, I wanted to mention that, those reservations can be made on Open Table. There's no, you can go to the Gulfstream Park website and click on the Open Table link and make the reservations through Open Table. There's no Ticketmaster involved or anything along
Mhm.
those lines.
My God.
The only thing that will involve a ticketed event that we're asking for is we have a watch party that we're doing outside on the apron under the big giant tent on the southern part of the track. And that will hold about 500 people. We're selling tickets for $25,
Okay.
and that includes your mint julep.
Okay.
And
With
the-
the souvenir glass.
With the souvenir, yeah, that'll be in the more the souvenir.
How do you get tickets
mug,
for that?
And that would be going on our website and following the link, and then it'll click you over to like a,
Gulfstreampark.com
Correct.
is the website, and just follow the links. There's all these boxes
Yes.
and links, and then of course
and that will include a best dress contest and
the
so-
Derby hats and things like
Correct.
that. Yeah. All right. It's going to be there's something about being at a racetrack
Yes.
on a big race day. You get
Yes.
your races here, and then everybody's going to be watching. About 7 p.m. is post time for the big race. It's going to be a full field of 20, and hopefully Grande will come roaring down that stretch.
Yeah.
Give me thousands of dollars. The horse that broke its maiden here. And the funny part is, it's Mike Rapoli Stables, who had all these Derby favorites and then a string of misfortunes where they had got hurt the day before, the night before, 2 times. Forte was one of them.
Yes.
And it's funny now because nobody's really talking about Grande and that whole story. That it's the years where they don't talk about him and hype him up, and
Yep,
hopefully he'll make it
that's
to the
when they-
gate.
Yes.
And then I am just hopefully going to be showered with $100 bills.
You
Um,
want to take a shower in
Well,
them?
You
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
Mike Rapoli, and if you are a fan of racing and follow what goes along, Netflix this
Yep.
past
Dave's
Tuesday,
been talking about this.
yep,
Yeah,
just released
Defoe's.
Race for the Crown.
Yeah.
I caught all 6 episodes. They were
Oh,
all
wow,
great.
nice.
I'm going to binge watch this weekend. I have
Yes.
not gotten to it yet. Too much playoff action.
They
So
were great. The only disappointment for me was I was hoping more cameos by like my staff and
Ah.
managers and so forth. You know,
Were they
I-
filming in
do they get a
here
lot of
yeah,
Gulfstream?
during-
they had a lot of Gulfstream Park and
Nice.
during the run up to the Triple Crown.
Correct.
Obviously, all the major prep races
Correct.
here. So that's cool. And let's not forget, we've got another big event in May. Well, first of all, Mother's Day, you are open
Mother's
with
Day.
the Enhanced Buffet
Yes.
on Sunday, May 11th.
that's also $85 and taking reservations for that through Open Table.
Right. And then are we on for martinis, paninis, and linguine.
The Sunday gravy edition, yes.
Sunday gravy.
Really?
Yes.
So
End
it
of
is-
May.
May 25th.
It is Memorial Day weekend,
It's
a
the
3-day
Sunday.
weekend. So I
Correct.
say, me and you, Tony, come in here and not only have the paninis and the linguine, but really down the martinis and maybe a few Negronis.
Yeah.
Will there be Negronis anywhere?
Let's
in the
have a
house?
martini.
I could do one, yes.
It kind of rhymes.
Yeah.
Not totally, but it
Yeah.
ends in I. It
It
fits
fits
the
the
theme.
Italian theme.
Yeah. But a 3-day weekend, Memorial Day, the day after the big event. And
Yeah.
so let's just get bombed, me and you, Tony.
That's it.
I'm with you.
Take an Uber or have our wives.
Yeah,
or
have our
girlfriends
wives
drive
take us
home.
home.
Yep.
Well, before we get there, we have this weekend's next weekend's Kentucky Derby, and you had the menu, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
wanted
Yes.
to talk about that a little bit.
So,
Hot browns.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say. Hot
Chef
browns.
Jason did his research on that, so which is great. So we're doing for the salad bar, there'll be Caesar salad, mixed green salad, and a 1960s Colonel Sanders bean salad. I don't have the exact a part of that, but still, that's part of the rest the menu. Then, of course, we're gonna have a Benedictine spread with crudité, which is a creamy green tinge spread made with cream cheese, cucumber, and herbs.
That
Nice.
sounds classy.
That sounds very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And then
It's a Derby.
the seafood
goes-
bar, obviously.
Pairs
and-
perfectly with a mint julep, too.
Yes. We know how much you love mint
I love
juleps.
we hammer them in.
So, and
It should. Oh, get your mic up there,
Microphone
Tony.
helps.
Yeah, there we go. Now you go. I'm sorry.
Mr. TV
Can we? No,
icon.
you think I know this?
After 60
You're
years. How long have you been in the
excited to see-
business?
It's only 60 years.
55 years.
Do we get a souvenir glass here?
for the Kentucky Derby, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, the actual glass that you would get at the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Oh,
The
that's
actual
cool.
glass.
That's
Oh, that's
good.
great.
You know, and if
It
you
op-
don't want the mint julep in the souvenir glass, which it's $15 whether you get the souvenir glass or not. But if you want
You
to
have
get
to take the glass.
if you don't want the glass, we do have the copper mugs as well. So
Okay.
or the
Nice.
version of the copper
Okay.
mug. So the quintessential mint julep cups provided by Woodford Reserve.
Nice.
So and then going back to the menu here, pasta station, carving station, seafood station, and the hotline. Chef is doing a Derby brisket with Coca-Cola and Woodford Reserve
That sounds nice.
barbecue glaze.
Okay.
I was able to try this on Wednesday. 'cause
But
we-
that's not what we have here. This
No,
is just
no,
your regular,
no, this is a
barbecue
regular barbecue
brisket. Yeah.
Yes. So I was able to try that on Wednesday because we did a segment with NBC6
Oh, nice.
that's going to air on May 1st and to featuring the items that we're doing for the Derby. And that was one of the
Nice.
items that we featured along with the hot brown and,
Yeah.
and
nice.
so forth.
Oh, good.
So, and then we're going to do duck fat roasted fingerling potatoes.
Oh, God.
We're gonna
Everybody just
do-
let out that groan.
Uh,
oh, that's so good.
But you hear the
It's-
term duck
it's
fat,
that
you know
duck
it's
fat
gonna-
groan that's
Yes.
right. And then
Some-
burgoo, which is a
Burgoo,
Kentucky
yeah.
stew.
We still
then-
don't know what's in it.
You don't want to know.
in
what's
certain
in it.
parts, certain
Yeah.
counties.
I think Purdue is Kentucky slang for surprise.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm kidding. So and then we have Kentucky sweet tea fried chicken. So we're gonna brine the chicken for 24 hours in sweet tea.
That sounds
Oh
good.
my
Yeah,
God.
and then fry it.
Oh wow, you
Um,
got a. This is a
You know, Chef Jason.
big
is
deal.
in
a
this room.
buffet worthy
Yes.
of a triple
Of the
crown
Derby.
race.
And
Yeah.
we're not even halfway through.
Yeah.
We have the Beaumont Inn spoon bread. The Beaumont Inn's a James
Yeah,
Beard American
spoon bread.
Classic
I know
Award.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and then we have baby carrots with sorghum syrup.
Sorghum. Mm.
Yes.
That's like related to molasses. I
Yes.
think. Yes. Okay.
Kentucky, as Chef puts his little notes here, Kentucky leads the U.S. in sorghum production. So anyway,
I love that.
I love it.
They
He's making
do.
a menu with
I
cheat
think
sheet
they
notes.
do.
Use that
It's like-
one at the next trivia night.
Exactly.
With the professor.
Yeah, instead
yes.
of instead of Cliff Notes, it's the Jason's notes.
Yes.
So sweet and spicy bourbon meatballs, mint julep glazed salmon, and then that was also featured on Wednesday. That'll be on the NBC. Pimento cheese baked mac and cheese, which if you haven't had his
okay.
pimento cheese,
It was
baked,
so great.
If you
Really
At the
good.
last thing,
It's
it was
very
freaking
good.
ridiculous.
It was good. Yes.
At the
And-
barbecue.
he'll do pancetta roasted Brussels sprouts, excuse me,
And-
and then we'll have a classic Kentucky Derby sandwich station that will feature the Kentucky hot brown.
That's awesome.
Okay, which will be, of course, we're going to fresh carve the turkey,
Right.
bacon, tomato,
What's that? Was
and
that
then
Mornay
sauce.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh,
And
jeez.
that's classic. That is a Louisville tradition. A hot brown sandwich. It
Started at the Brown
tastes
Hotel
much
in
better.
1926.
tastes
And what it
really
sounds.
good than what it sounds. I would have not. If I was their marketing person, I would have said you might want to try to
Yeah.
make that name a little bit more appealing. But
And then the last thing will be chili buns, which were first served at the Dixie Billiard Parlor in Corbin, Kentucky.
wow,
in
he's gone a
1929.
deep dive
So he went-
into
Well, you know,
being
Chef Jason's
culturally
amazing at that.
accurate.
He
and
did. He
getting-
came out with this menu and he started speaking in the Southern slang.
Nice.
Okay.
Y'all take care now. you
Y'all
hear?
see, y'all see this?
So this is all going to be unfolding next Saturday, the Enhanced Buffet here at Gulfstream Park. Get your reservations now. Space is extremely limited, right?
Yes.
All right. Joe, let's do the contest
Let's
before
get it
our
done.
third
Yep,
break,
yep,
and
yep.
then we can just take our break and get the heck out of
Call it
here.
a week.
So it is time for this week's Lunchbox Gulfstream 10 Palms Sunday Brunch giveaway. We got a couple of winners coming in here this Sunday, including
Nice.
the Koch clan will be here.
Nice.
A party of 6, 3 winners. And then the first-time winner from last week, Andrew Dunn,
Nice.
who I think is friends with Todd Cusado,
He is.
who's a horse owner and a regular here.
Yeah.
I think, he won. He nailed it last week. Very impressive showing. And so they're going to be enjoying the fruits of their victories this weekend,
That's great.
and you can too. All you got to do is email the answers to this week's restaurant trivia question. It's actually not a trivia question this week. This week's it's a news quiz. I'm going to throw a little curveball, along with your horse selection for this week's Gulfstream Saturday contest race, which is going to be race number 9, an 11 horse field. So number 1 through 11 in race 9, and it's the $75,000 Monroe Stakes, the fillies and mares on the turf, on the 16th. And if your horse scratches, you get the post time favorite. Post time approximately 5:09 p.m. And finally, the tiebreaker. We're going with the home team, not the Panthers, because that's
The Eagles.
hockey is too easy. We need a winner and a victory margin in tomorrow's game 3 of the Heat
Cavs.
against the Cavaliers. They're hosting them here at the Casaya Center, 1 p.m. start, same time as the Panthers.
Oh my God,
game.
they really are both at the same time.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
that's
wow.
so weird.
They're hammering
Why do
us.
they have to be at the same
The
time?
rest of the series, the leagues are both hate Miami.
But why
And,
they're
like,
not even in the same? They're nowhere near each other in
I know.
location.
It just it makes
that's
no
a
sense.
weird time that both.
They
Okay.
both on at the
That's-
same time.
Like the
both
Panthers are a more
home
prime time.
games.
Then you can make the Panthers a prime time game. I get the Heat
All right,
1
but
o'clock.
Lubie, take it up with the
This
authorities.
is annoying. They did that
I'm
last year and it
just the
stressed me out.
messenger. Don't shoot
So
the messenger.
if you decide to spread, do we know what time Cleveland's arriving into town on Friday?
That's
You know,
Defo's thing.
1 o'clock
How
game
much
on
are
a
they partying?
Saturday.
Yeah,
Is there going to be a South Beach effect?
Defoe's thesis, his theory, which I think is wise, is that they're going to come down here
There's gonna be a
tonight
game.
late, be up early, focus, take a 3-0 lead, and then party their faces off. Game 4 will be the let's let the Heat have a victory while we're hungover, and then
Okay.
they'll wrap up business
Yeah.
on Game 5.
You're probably right.
I think it's a very sound theory.
It is.
So again, but you've got to give the winner and the margin. Let's say Cavaliers by 3 points. That's how you put it in, and submit all your selections to MikeMayoEats@gmail.com by noon tomorrow. Again, 1 p.m. tip-off. So any latecomers
Yeah,
will
nah,
be
you're-
disqualified.
No shot. Yep.
And again, race number 9, numbers 1 through 11. All right, here we go. This week, change of pace with a restaurant news quiz. So for all those who've been paying attention to the restaurant news or watching this show this
We
week,
talk about a lot. Yep.
hopefully you will know the answer. But also, please take note, spelling counts.
Yes.
The
Again, you can
only-
Google everything.
And
So.
the one clue, these 2 restaurants, one in West Palm Beach and one a specific part of an eatery in Fort Lauderdale, were each recently awarded a Michelin star in the 2025 Florida Michelin Guide, and they are the first establishments to be so honored in Palm Beach and Broward counties. Okay? One restaurant in Palm Beach County got a star, one restaurant, actually a part of a restaurant, and you've got to be specific. The formal name of each restaurant, spelling counts, send it all along with the horse selection and the Heat Cavs prediction. MikeMayoEats@gmail.com by noon tomorrow. All right. I think that's going to do it, Joe. I need a rest.
Yes, take a break, my friend.
I don't know why I'm so tired this week. Probably because, many things. My daughter got home. She's taking finals online. I hope your daughter's doing okay, Joe.
Yep, she's doing great. She's doing all right. She's not on campus this week. She's decided to do it all remote, but she wants to finish everything up there before she comes home.
Okay.
So she'll be wrapping up Friday, Saturday. She's going to knock out all her exams next week by Friday, Saturday, and take a bus back on Sunday.
Okay. We hope everybody is doing well and recovering from all the things that unfolded there, unfortunately, last week up in Tallahassee. All right. With that, let's take our third and final break, and then we will call it a week on the Lunchbox after these words.
For the finest poultry and the freshest fish, Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, open 7 days. Since 1951, a South Florida tradition for stone crab in season, Thanksgiving turkeys, holiday feasts, and everyday eating. Great steaks, house-made sausage, and prepared foods, too. Delaware is not just a market, it's a celebration of taste, quality, and old-fashioned customer service with a smile. Sign up for their weekly email flyer at DelawareChicken.com and tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a great bagel with lox, matzo ball soup, deli sandwich, and rugelach, you know where I go? Grandpa's Restaurant in Dania Beach. It's a South Florida institution since 1957 that was revamped a few years back by a pair of New York bagel baking legends. Full deli and appetizing case with spreads, salads, and platters for takeout and catering. Grandpa's is near Federal Highway just north of Sterling Road, open 7 days for breakfast and lunch. Go eat and enjoy. It's Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. For the finest and authentic Greek cuisine, Taverna Kima is the place to go. 6298 North Federal Highway in Boca Raton. It's been around for nearly 2 decades. Every day is a feast with grilled lamb and fish, house-made spinach pie and moussaka, gyros, traditional dips, mezes, with soft, warm pita. It's open 7 days for lunch and dinner with happy hour daily from 3 to 6 p.m., indoor, outdoor, private dining. So celebrate life at Taverna Kima. For reservations and information, go to tavernakima.com. When I get a craving for real Southern barbecue, Fat Boys Barbecue is the place that I call home. Cooked low and slow with proper smoke and dry rub goodness, Fat Boys has some of the best ribs, brisket, burnt ends, pulled pork, and chicken around. 5 delectable sauces and the tastiest collard greens, candied yams, and cornbread this side of heaven. 4 locations, including Deerfield, Coral Springs, Cypress Creek Road, and their newest location in downtown Fort Lauderdale, 706 South Federal Highway. Open 7 days with great lunch specials, online ordering, delivery, catering, and food trucks for your next event. To order, go to fatboysbarbecue.com today. That's Fat Boys with a Z. When people ask me about the best restaurants in South Florida, Casa D'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa D'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. Hey, it's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk and Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for Sunday brunch, and Taco Tuesdays, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-face smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Fresh local fish, a sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hour 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and reservations.
All right, we're back on the lunchbox, and we're also going. So it's
Yes.
time for the weekend. Any big plans? Anybody, or just watching a lot of playoff games? Defo.
Washington.
My grandson's 10th birthday tomorrow.
Wow,
Nice. Mazel tov.
Double
Celebrating
digits.
at the Yard House at Meisner Park.
Excellent. That's
Nice
good.
spot, yeah.
I used to like the Yard House here a lot, and I love their tuna nachos. They have
Yes,
a really
their
good
tuna nachos are awesome.
They are good. Okay. Tony, any plans this week?
No plans this weekend, but next weekend we're going to be derbying it and having a
Can't
good
wait.
time.
I'm counting down. And
Yes.
Lubie, any big plans at Casa de Lubie?
It's my brother-in-law's birthday. Mickey, happy birthday, Mickey. And so they're going out of town, and we're watching the nephews tonight. And my nephews are insane, so it should be fun. 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. So it should be a good time with my dog, and the three of them together is madhouse. So that's my evening, and then tomorrow she has me doing some volunteering things.
Oh,
so,
good. Well,
so
I'm glad
it's
that
a
you
lot of
have
fun.
the
The things I
spirit
don't enjoy.
that you're volunteering your services, even if somebody else volunteered them for you.
Pretty much.
I will not be going to the Las Olas Food and Wine Festival
No, I
tonight
won't
because I
either.
don't know who they are and never been
They
invited.
don't care about you.
Number 2, tomorrow night, I'm checking out. I've been invited to one of these friends and family preview dinners, this new Ocean Prime Steakhouse seafood restaurant that is new in this new building that's right on the Intercoastal and Las Olas Boulevard. And it's looking forward to that.
Do you Uber all these places?
Tomorrow night, we probably will. Because
That's close enough, right?
might be some beverages consumed. But earlier today, besides trying to keep a handle on all the playoff action, I'm playing golf for like the first time in 3 years. Val's son invited us out, and Val hasn't picked up a club in I don't know how long. So it could be a real ugly affair. I would advise all
This is
Stay out of the
youngsters
way.
to be away from the Colony
this is what
course,
I imagine.
Cooper City.
I imagined you just like in Caddyshack.
Oh, it's called Cooper Colony. I think that's what it's
Might be
ran-
Cooper
Colony.
Colony. Yeah.
In Caddyshack, where the two old people are playing,
Yeah.
and they hit the ball.
That's a peach hunt. That's going to be me and Val.
Yeah, Cooper
tomorrow.
Colony. is what-
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping for a few good shots.
Just get back on the links.
All right, that's it. Monday, I have no idea where we're going. Oh, we're going to be at Prezzo with our friend
back at
Eddie
Prezzo with
Pizzoli,
Eddie.
Boca
P.
Raton, 1 p.m. I'm looking forward to
It's
that.
been a
We haven't
while.
been up there for a while. Some good classic Italian food. Prezzo, 2 locations, Palm Beach Gardens, and, of course, in Boca Raton. All right, we'll see you then. Until
Great
then,
weekend,
enjoy the
everybody.
weekend and enjoy every sandwich.